welcome to this deep dive. Now, if you're listening, chances are you're driven a high-performing professional, maybe a coach, maybe an athlete. You understand drive, so let's get right to it. Coach Ed Padalecki poses a really central question. Whose job is it to motivate you?
And the answer he gives is, well, it's direct. It's yours.
Yours,
Yep.
exactly. No ambiguity there.
None at all. And Coach P's work really emphasizes this idea that motivation isn't, some kind of magic spell. It's something tangible, something we can actually understand and influence. And for that, we're looking at the work of Piers Steel, a motivation researcher.
Ah, yes. Steele's equation. Coach Padalecki highlights this too.
He does. It gives us a really practical framework.
Okay, so the equation is motivation equals expectancy times value, all divided by impulsivity times delay.
Looks a bit academic, maybe?
Maybe at first glance, yeah. But don't let that put you off. What we want to do here is unpack this
Exactly. Break down each part using Coach Padalecki's insights.
so you can see how to apply it directly, boost your own motivation in whatever you're pursuing.
Let's start at the top then. The numerator. Expectancy. Coach Padalecki really frames this as confidence. Simple as that. Do you truly believe you can achieve the goal?
It's a fundamental question, isn't it? Thinking about your key goals right now, listener, do you really have that deep down conviction?
That's where Coach P says we need to start, that self-assessment.
And he gives us ways to strengthen it if it feels a bit shaky.
Right. Two main strategies he points out. First, simplify the goal. If it feels huge, overwhelming, make it smaller steps. Coach P talks about creating a roadmap.
Like focusing on the next base camp, not the giant summit way off in the distance.
Precisely. It builds that sense of, I can do this next bit. It fosters progress.
So if any of your goals feel just too big right now, maybe that's the first step. Break it down.
And the second strategy Coach Padalecki mentions, build your confidence actively.
How so?
Well, look back at past wins. Remind yourself what you're capable of.
Okay, leverage history.
Or, as Coach P suggests, tackle some smaller related tasks right now. Get some quick wins.
Yeah, build momentum.
Yeah, that positive feedback loop. Small successes fuel belief for the bigger ones. Coach P really emphasizes that.
Okay, that makes sense for expectancy. What about the other part of the numerator, value?
This is about desire. How badly do you want it?
Coach Padalecki uses that powerful term from Napoleon Hill, burning desire.
He does. It's not just mild interest. It's got to be intense, almost visceral.
So the questions Coach Padalecki implies we should ask ourselves are, what do I really want?
Right. And does the thought of achieving it actually light a fire inside you?
That's the key. If the desire feels weak or lukewarm.
Coach P sees that as a signal, a really important one.
A signal to maybe reevaluate?
Potentially, yes. As Coach Padalecki stresses, motivation thrives when we're chasing something deeply meaningful to us, aligned with our core values.
So if that value, that desire, isn't strong, maybe the goal itself isn't quite right for you right now.
That could be it. That misalignment, as Coach P notes, can really sap your energy.
Expectancy and value, belief and desire. That's the top half.
For the bottom half, the things that dilute motivation, starting with impulsivity.
Impulsivity. Coach Padalecki calls this the distraction killer.
Yeah, a major obstacle, especially today. Coach P points out how we're just bombarded.
Oh, tell me about it. Push notifications, emails popping up, social media.
All those things pulling at our focus,
Yeah.
derailing us from what actually matters.
And Coach Padalecki has a pretty straightforward solution, doesn't he?
He does. Reduce the distractions. Sounds simple, but
Requires deliberate action.
absolutely. Turn off the non-essential notifications. Create dedicated time blocks. Coach P would likely call it deep work time.
Right, protecting that focus so you can actually make real progress on important stuff.
So, thinking about Coach Padalecki's advice, what are your biggest distractors? And what's one step you could take to minimize them?
That's a practical challenge. Okay, the last piece of the puzzle, delay.
Delay. This is about how far away the goal feels.
Coach Padalecki points out that if a goal seems really distant, like years away,
It can be demotivating now, hard to keep the effort up when the reward feels so remote.
makes sense. So what's the counter strategy from Coach P?
Micro goals. That's the term Coach Padalecki uses.
Micro goals, smaller targets for right now, today, or this week. Things you can achieve quickly.
Ah, so you're not losing sight of the big picture.
Not at all. But you're creating immediate wins. As Coach P explains, it's about generating momentum now.
Got it. Each small win fuels the next step towards the bigger goal. It makes progress feel real, tangible.
Exactly. It combats that feeling of the finish line being impossibly far away.
So another practical question, based on Coach P's ideas, what's the next small, actionable step you can take towards your main goal, today or this week? Finding that immediate action is key.
Now, what's really interesting, and Coach Padalecki draws this connection, is how this whole equation ties into peak performance principles.
Things like clarity, focus, action concepts Coach P mentions are often discussed in resources like Peak Performance Today.
Okay, let's map that out. Expectancy and value.
They feed into clarity, right? Knowing what you want to value and believing you can get it. Expectancy, that's clarity.
Makes perfect sense. And then impulsivity.
Minimizing impulsivity, like Coach Padalecki advises, that directly builds focus.
Like cutting out the noise.
Precisely.
Allowing you to concentrate your mental energy.
And finally, delay. Reducing it with micro goals.
That drives action. Consistent action. Coach Padalecki's point is that it turns clarity and focus into actual steps forward.
So it's not just theory, it links directly to the core actions needed for high performance.
Exactly. Which brings us to Coach Padalecki's challenge for you, the listener.
Take this equation and apply it. Assess where you are right now.
Ask those honest questions. Is my expectancy high?
Really?
Is my value strong? That burning desire Coach P talks about, is it there?
Am I managing impulsivity?
No.
Or are distractions winning?
And am I beating delay? Am I using those micro goals Coach Padalecki recommends to keep moving?
And Coach P's practical advice here is great. If motivation feels low, brainstorm small tweaks. What's one tiny thing you can do for E, for V, to lower I, to shorten D?
It doesn't have to be massive changes.
Not at all. Small adjustments can make a real difference.
Because, as Coach Padalecki puts it so well, motivation isn't magic. It's math.
It's understandable components you can work with. Use the formula. Take control. Drive your own performance.
It's empowering when you look at it that way.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought here. Motivation isn't static, is it? It ebbs and flows.
For sure. Some days are better than others.
So regularly checking in with this equation can be like a diagnostic tool for your mindset.
Helping you spot dips early.
Yeah, exactly. See, where things might be slipping is my belief wavering. Am I getting distracted too easily? And address it proactively.
That's a really useful habit to build. Maybe even pinpointing which variable E, V, I, or D tends to be your biggest challenge or your biggest asset right now.
Focusing your optimization efforts there could unlock that next level of drive.
Something for everyone to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.